makes him his own father. But let's be honest, we all really remember him because he was Bastian's dad in Never-Ending Story 2. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. John Wesley Shipp! In addition, through the wonders of technology, if you turn your attention to the big screens either side, there he is. We have some eye candy, Mr. Rick Cosnett joining us.
How are we going?
Oh, there he is. Good.
Hey, personal Siri.
John!
Hello, how are you, Rick?
I'm good, thank you. I start talking American whenever I see American. But I really want to talk like a New Zealander because they do have a nice accents.
Well, it's fantastic coming from Zimbabwe.
Yeah,
Now,
this is incredible. I'm from a small farm in Zimbabwe, so this whole technology thing really freaks me out, actually.
Alright, Rick, just be careful. I'm just going to show you the audience. Hang on.
Don't drop Rick Cosnett. Lost Rick.
They killed Rick! Oops. They did it yesterday on the Arrow panel with no problems. What did I do? Thank you. This will be the last time I want an Armageddon stage. Okay, in the meantime, while we're trying to revive them, don't go towards the light! If you've got a question here, can I have my two mic guys please standing in the middle of the rows there? Where are you? Excellent, put your hands up. You got a question for John or for Rick? When we get them back. Just line up behind one of these two people there, Raoul and Phyllis. I keep forgetting your name, I'm so sorry. And of course, let's get this panel underway. Oh, we got him back. He's back. Thank you.
Wonderfully intimate. You guys, you're actually in my living room right now, so I'm drinking water, I promise. We won't tell you that.
So, do we have a first question? Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I'll explain it again. If you got a question for any of our guests, just go stand over by our microphone guy, make you work your way over there. Go to it for this one, so make it quick. Form up a line.
Hi, this is a question for Rick. What has it been like for you going into your character Eddie Thorne, considering it's like the only character on the show that isn't already like in the comics or inspired by someone in the comics? How's that been like for you?
Confusing. Yeah, it was kind of amazing because I sort of built this character around a lot of different kind of laws that comic book stories that I had read before, because I didn't really know who this guy was, and the writers don't like to tell you a whole lot before. So, you know, at first I thought maybe he could be a bad guy, he could be this, he could be that, but I did sit down with the producers, and the one thing that was really smart of them to do with Eddie was to make him really nice and really just like a good person, and kind of the opposite of what you think he's going to be, because I can very easily play the dick, you know, unfortunately. And I was kind of going that territory in the auditions, and they were the ones who steered me back to making Eddie so wonderfully lovely, and then we kind of just broke everyone's hearts by killing him. It was so nice. Yeah. But that doesn't really answer your question at all. But, you know, I didn't really know exactly, and I still don't, exactly where Eddie's going to go. But they have said that they will probably have me back. I just don't know if I'm going to be good or bad, and I guess that's the wonderful mystery that intrigues all of us, and that's a question I get asked on a daily basis.
Thank you very much.
That's the polite way of putting it. As actors, the mystery that intrigues all of us. That goes for our entire careers. We never know what's happening next.
You don't, and the trick is just not to be terrified, just to kind of roll with it, and always think that you're going on to something better.
Hi, I've got a question for both of you. Since both of your characters have had an exit in either season 1 or 2, do they have a bigger role to play later in season 2 that you know of?
Well, Rick's alluded to the fact that he'll be back. I was always hoping throughout the first season that there was more to Henry Allen than we knew. I have many questions, like why when he heard about the man in the yellow suit was there no reaction? You know, why when his son could go back and went back to the scene of the crime and comes back, there are no questions. He says, no, you can't do it. So I was already trying to plant the seed that there's a little bit darker story to Henry. I don't think it's taken root in this version, but I keep hoping. But, I know, I think Rick alluded to this, and a lot of it is based on what you guys want. They're constantly combing social media, but I know that I will be back. I've already done some work that's coming up. But, it evolves. We may be told one thing at the beginning of a season, but based on what you guys are responding to and what works on screen, it may develop into something entirely different. So, what you think matters. Don't think that you're unseen in this process.
Yeah. And a lot of the time also stuff that we do with our characters and the way that scenes go with us, they'll sort of take that and run with that. Which Jesse always said, it's true, if you make a strong choice about something, then they, as John Wesley was saying, sometimes they will roll with that because it gives them some juice and some ideas, because at the same time they're having to write 22 really riveting episodes, and they really want to play to your strengths. So
piggybacking on that, Grant in the first episode, of course, in the prison scene, and I can say this because Grant just said it in an interview. They discovered that Grant could cry, and he's like, "I'm looking forward to the day when someone else cries on camera." It's like, well, I don't have to do that heavy lifting. So yeah, they are looking to see what you can do. Be careful what choice you make, because if you do it well, you'll be repeating it.
Yes. Like doing a lot of explaining dialogue. Don't do that well. You have to fuck that up in the first part.
If you could play any superhero or supervillain, excluding Flash, who would you want to play?
Would that be me or Rick?
Okay.
Oh, Rick, you take it.
Superhero or supervillain? So the first thing that came to mind was she's not even, April from Ninja Turtles? Don't play the first thing that comes to your head game with me. I was born in April, and I was just obsessed with April. That's my answer.
For me, well, you mentioned that I'm now playing my own father. I also voiced an episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold, in which I was Professor Zoom. So I've been Barry, I've been my own worst enemy, and now I'm my father. So I don't know, maybe if there's another character in that universe that I could play.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little late for that.
Actually, kind of a lead on, because with the Earth 2, how the same characters exist in the other world. I was just going to say, if you were able to be a character from Earth 2 coming into the Flash series, what would you like your characters to be? Like, how would you like to portray them if you had the choice?
That's an awesome question. I'm just obsessed with your accents. I can't get enough. And now I'm going on a completely different tangent. Sorry, before I answer that question, what's that amazing New Zealand TV series where the mum's always smoking and...
Outrageous Fortune.
Yes, Outrageous Fortune! Anyway,
All of New Zealand is just like that, either hobbits, or we smoke, drink, and steal stuff.
oh my god, it's a good representation, sorry. So, I think, I love that concept, and I know Jesse wants to come back as like a homeless man or something. Joe did not make it. And I would love to be something completely different, like maybe I'm doing like stand-up shows at like a CD bar.
Karaoke.
Yeah, karaoke. Maybe Eddie's really a drag queen.
I'm sensing a theme. April O'Neil, drag queen.
Yeah, you are.
I was very intrigued in the flashes that they did at the end of season 1, where Barry is seen for a second in prison, because I'm used to seeing him on the other side of that glass, and that made me think, okay, if Barry's in prison, where's Henry? I would like to come back as the opposite of this very good, supportive person that they've decided. Jeff Johns told me that Henry Allen is the heart of that show, particularly first season. And I'd like to come back and explore some darker possibilities.
That's awesome. That's a better answer.
I really brought the room down. Everything just went quiet.
Just quickly, sorry, because this is my first time thinking in real life. How long do you spend in the makeup chair making you look as old as you do on TV?
Oh, bless your heart.
Seriously though, I was expecting you to look a bit more dried and wrinkled like Henry does, and yet, you look almost younger than me.
Well, he's obviously been in Iron Heights for 14 years, and we all know what that name inspires, what Iron Heights is. And I had said to them, the last thing I want to do is come in here and look like Mitch Leary 10 years later. So we made my hair a little longer, we grew out some scrub. And then when you're working those hours, although I can't complain, Grant and the cast, Rick, they were doing the heavy lifting. I got to come in and skim the cream off the top. But, early in the morning and late at night, you tend not to maybe look like you do at noon. So.
What do you think of the new Flash actor?
Who's that for? Who would you like to answer that? Me? I think, you know what? I can say, really truthfully, I really want to make a joke right now, but I'm gonna be sincere, because I have no other answer. I am genuinely in awe of this 24-year-old man who has so much talent and so much truth, sense of truth, almost unerring sense of truth, sensitivity. He can play the young, goofy side of Barry, he can play the romantic lead, and he can turn around and break your heart. What more could you ask? And he has a physicality because of his dance training. He can bust moves that I couldn't perform in or out of the suit. So I am, after 24 years of representing the Flash, I'm very proud and delighted to be handing it off to Grant Gustin.
Rick, what do you think of him?
As if you could hate Grant, the only way you could hate Grant is if you were jealous of him, because like, damn, how are you so good? And such a great person, and just want to hang out with all the time. Yeah, he really is. I mean, you really do just fall in love with this guy. He's just so, as you said, John, I mean, talk about truthful and honest, not only in his work, but in his life. He's a very authentic guy, and he really, you know, just has made this show so magical, and we're just all so lucky to have someone so grounded and connected and funny and fun and full of life to kind of, you know, really steer the ship, because they often, the lead of the show, you know, often steers the ship in whatever direction it goes. And so that's why we've been so lucky. And, you know, John has, you know, was so amazing in his TV show, and I think it's just kind of a perfect takeover. And of course, John's still involved. So yeah, I mean, I just love the whole thing. I love it. And, you know, The Flash is just, it's back in such a big way, and it's a classic. I'm so happy and proud to be a part of it. It's really cool.
All right, this Creek was really autobiographical from Kevin Williamson's sort of childhood. Do you have any insight or input into that?
Yes, I think that's absolutely right. And one of the reasons that, you know, it became such a pop culture hit, and anything that goes up that high inevitably has to come down and then find its way back up, which is sort of where I think it is now. But we tend to forget that at the very beginning, there had been nothing that sounded like this on television. I was not the original father. They shot the pilot presentation with another actor, and when they decided to go a different direction, I watched and I thought, wow, this is a new way of telling stories for young people. We're not writing down to them. I remember once Glenn Close said, well, kids don't talk like that, and Kevin Williamson, without skipping a beat, said, maybe not, but they'd like to. You know, so we're writing up to an audience, and that was Kevin. A lot of it was, you know, Kevin is a very quirky, interesting, and super intelligent guy with his own kind of perception on life. I think one of the problems when Kevin left the show was he really was the voice of Dawson. And for a while after Kevin left, they were struggling not to imitate simply that voice, but to find it. I think they got it back, but it struggled a bit because Kevin was the voice of Dawson. I remember that one scene where Dawson wants to kiss Jen, but he's got a prosthetic head of Joey, and he comes to his dad, how do you kiss a girl? You know, and we don't know that Joey has slipped in the window and is listening from the balcony above, and we're at the table, and so I'm saying, okay, practice on this prosthetic head of Joey. Now think of that construct, and she's watching, so she's in love with Dawson, she's watching me instructing Dawson how to practice to kiss Jen on a prosthetic head of herself. That's Kevin Williamson at his finest.
That's awesome. That's fascinating. I love Wesley Shipp. Like, I'm just sitting here like,
Sorry.
Still time.
Next question.
I'm 6 years old and I love The Flash.
that's awesome. That was a statement.
If like the Flash universe crossed over with any other like universe, superhero or not, what would you want it to be?
That's a good one. I think I would love to cross over into Gotham City, into Batman. That would be insane.
Have you guys seen the Supergirl pilot yet? Has that aired? It is. I won't do any. Is she not awesome? And Callista Flockhart, is she not turning it out as the editor of that newspaper? I mean, that is a fantastic. I was mesmerized by that pilot, and I'd love to do an exchange with that cast.
troublemaker. And you've got a great costume. Those pants are fantastic. I was just wondering what drew you to that character.
A friend sent me a picture before it came out. She found online of me in Monaco. And she just said at the bottom, that ass. Just like, I was like, oh my gosh. I think it's full on, like the clothes are very tight. But sorry, what was your question?
What drew you to the character, other than the pants?
Other than the pants, which I did not know I was going to learn for that. Basically, you know, I thought it was really well written. I mean, all I got was an audition scene, really. And I just loved, I thought it was really well written, and that Elias was hilarious. And like a character I've never played on television before, was so different from the one I was playing in The Flash. And yeah, he is. It's just, I realized that, you know, you always want to use parts of yourself in characters. I realized I had this kind of crazy little kind of cat who was just like wanting to come out. And that was Elias for sure. And so it's been a lot of fun playing someone who's really smart and really, you know, kind of fast talking and who's a little with it. I just am in love with him. I'm really having so much fun. So, yeah, there's lots more to come, actually. The one that's airing this Sunday in the States is a big one for Elias. And he goes through this really big journey in quite a short space of time. So it's also good.
Thank you.
Cool.
Hi. I would just like to know what was it like to go from the abusive father in Teen Wolf to act as the loving father in The Flash?
It's an actor's dream, you know. It really is. I call it, you know, my specialty is superheroes and psychopaths, and very little in between. I got it early on. I got to break type really early. My first job was playing a really good guy on a soap, and I got to follow that up with a good guy that proceeded all the way out into psychopaths, and it's kind of been back and forth. Certainly, it was great fun. I had great fun with Daniel Sharman doing that. All right, in that kitchen scene. I have to tell this story. I think it was so precious, you know, because he didn't quite know. I mean, we were feeling out what we were going to do with it, and my take on it was, well, let's have Mr. Leahy be the concerned parent up until the point where he flips the glass and it crashes on the floor, you know. And then, of course, at the end, he almost blinds. You know, at the end of that first take, I'm smashing the glasses, and he came over to me and he said, "Man, you are scaring the shit out of me." So that was a lot of fun. And the heartfelt moments between Grant, I wouldn't trade for anything. To be able to know that you don't even have to run lines, but the fact that you played the character he's playing, he knows you have, you know what he's going through, so you show up and your backstory is done. And you just have to learn the lines and show up and talk to each other. It's an experience that I wouldn't have wanted to miss. Feel free to applaud. Go ahead.
You're sharing a universe where people have quite dramatic superpowers and they're able to do amazing things. If you were in a universe where everyone had some sort of mundane ability, what would your mundane superpower be? And he's laughing because I asked him this last night. So, I had someone answer the ability to have perfect power naps or the ability to always find a parking space. Some small ability like that.
You're cleverer than I am, Rick. You take that one.
But okay. Mine would probably be the ability to never worry, to be worryless, maybe to be just constantly stoned. Yeah, that sense of like, it's all good. It's gonna be awesome. Like, it's all gonna work out, and like, everything's gonna be mine, because I don't feel like that very often.
It's funny, anyone who's on my Facebook page, first of all, I apologize. I'm very active and very, whatever I see in world events that comes out, it explodes onto my page. That's why I keep it a personal page, and most of my professional stuff is done on Twitter. A lot of people get very upset by the fact that I'm speaking politically. I'll talk about religion, I'll talk about ethics. And I guess the power I would want is to be able to be intense and passionate about these things without alienating people. That we could all show up and have different opinions, hold them passionately, express them intensely, and nobody has to leave the building. You don't have to go directly to jail. We can all, we're all part of God's family, and we get to all be here. That's not mundane, but that's the power I would want.
Yeah, to always be present and alive. We do need to discuss these things openly,
Sorry, I just brought the room down again. Next question.
It's good. We're thinking about things, not just saying silly things like I do.
Hello. This is for John. How do you manage to be part of the 2014 Flash series?
How did that come about?
Yes.
It's very funny. Tom Cavanaugh, they asked him that at Comic-Con San Diego, and he said, well, they backed up the Brinks truck, and they started unloading the money truck. They started unloading it. That was not my experience. No, I had heard that they were going to finally get a new incarnation after falling in and out of development countless times. Ryan Reynolds was going to be the Flash. This one was going to be, blah, blah, blah. Finally getting it done, had the perfect guy, Grant Gustin, and then I heard what Jeff Johns had done to the Allen family. How he had exploded, blown up the Allen family. Suddenly, Henry is in jail, convicted of wrongfully convicted of killing Nora in front of a 10-year-old Barry. Emmett Walsh, who played my father, did not kill my mother in front of a 10-year-old me. So I thought, if they come to me, that's the part I would want. And shortly after that, they came and they offered it to me. I eagerly accepted.
Thank you.
Hi. What was it like to go from the old version of Flash to the new version of Flash?
Well, it was long enough ago. It was, a quarter of a century ago. But, so I had sort of put that in its place. The fact that it has had an extended life, I'm incredibly grateful for, because all we got was 22, 23 episodes. It came out on DVD in 2006. But it was a natural progression. I tell people if there's any value for me being in the new show, it's that the fact that I have played Barry Allen allows me to play Henry Allen better.
So cool that you're in a new show, right? Yeah. It's really cool what they're doing. And I think that's the thing with them, they always aim really high, I noticed the writers and producers, they really feel like anything's possible, and that's the theme of the whole show. Cool.
I have a question for both of you. First, John, being the Flash back in the day, did you give Grant tips on how to be the Flash, how to act him and play him?
No, that young man needs no help from me. They asked me the same thing on Dawson's Creek. They said, the younger actors, you're the elder statesman on the set. And they said, do you give advice? I said, oh God, I hope not, because that would be insufferable. Certainly Grant and I have talked about it, and if he feels like talking about it, he doesn't need to anymore, because now I have no experience with where he is. Now, he is in the second season, the only second season, live-action second season of a Flash that we've ever had. So he's in a whole new land, that I have no experience with. But at the beginning, he was feeling his way into it, and he said at Comic-Con this last year that I had told him two things. One was that he had been cast for the right reasons. Know that you've been cast for the right reasons, and trust yourself. You know, and beyond that, it's like, you know what? He makes me better than I am. When I do a scene with Grant, I'm more emotionally present. You know, so it's always I'm learning from him, you know, as well.
My question for Rick is, why didn't you come to New Zealand?
Because I had to come back to film Quantico. They called me back early, and I was absolutely devastated. And I should have started with this, but I really am sad I didn't get to come and meet you guys, because I really was looking forward to it. I've never been to New Zealand before, and I'm going to have to come back. I'm going to have to try and come back, but I'm telling you, I was so stressed out because they moved everything. And I thought I was hoping, you know, I would start on next Tuesday, and all my big scenes were filmed on Friday, and so I was a complete mess. I was on the plane, flying back, having to learn 3 massive scenes, massive monologues, and then they changed it the night before and the morning off. So I've had a traumatic few days. But I got through it, and yeah, I'm just kind of happy that I'm still alive, let alone in New Zealand.
Rick, do you know when that airs? When does that episode air? Because I know we'll all want to tune in and see. When does that? Do you know? How far ahead are you of your air dates?
Yeah, so we're doing episode 9 right now. So look out for episode 9, right? It was stressed out. But yeah, it's very fast-paced, and everything's kind of coming to a head in Monaco right now. And it's very cool. My new, I don't even read it a few years ago, I'm playing a big part in the storyline. So yeah, it's cool. But thank you. But you know, there's so many people that affect on a set that you unfortunately are not the only one who the schedule, you know, revolves around. So I just had to take this one on the chin. So, but I'm really sorry I couldn't be there. But you guys get to be inside my living room, so that's you get to see me being unveiled.
Your natural habitat.
And maybe I should.
My question is actually for both of you. What is the one TV program or one person that you would go, I'd drop anything to be in an episode of that series or that movie? You know, like, doesn't matter if it's Christmas Day, I'll come in now kind of thing.
There's so many. I would House of Cards, The Good Wife. Anything with amazing acting on it, I'm just drawn to, like, imagine I'm fascinated. I want to be them. I want to be as good as them, and just something in me, just crying with passion for it.
Yeah, those two would be high on my list. Also, when it was running, Newsroom, anything by Aaron Sorkin, those characters are so wonderful. I have an ambivalent feeling about ever working with Al Pacino, because I so revere him. In fact, I'm going to see him, he's on Broadway right now in a limited run. And I remember I was walking down 9th Avenue when I was doing Dancing at Movies on Broadway, and I saw him walking up with 2 bodyguards, and I was so flummoxed I had to cross the street. I couldn't walk, I couldn't sing, you know. So although I think it would, if I could keep it together, I think there would be a lot to learn from him, that he would be #1 on my wish list to work with. Thank you.
Which character in Dancing at Lewis did you play?
Dancing at Lewis, I was Jerry Evans. I was the Welsh wastrel.
Yes, the father.
And I'm going to Wales the end of next month, so I get to see how good or how bad my South Walian accent was.
Hi, my question for both of you is, what would be your favourite line your character has ever seen on The Flash, and why?
Well, he's thinking. I love the moment, and for those of you who were in my panel yesterday, talk amongst yourselves, because I answered this yesterday, but the moment in the infirmary after Henry gets shanked, after working with Joe on the inside, and I'm sitting there with him, and I have the newspaper, the picture of the Flash, and Henry knows, you know, and he shows it to Barry, and he said, look, the Flash, you know, and he says something about the fact that he saved Joe, lucky Joe, you know. I guess I'm lucky too, he saved me, I'm waiting for him to see. So don't you think if I were the Flash that I would tell you? And then Henry says, yeah, well, if the Flash were my son, I'd tell him a few things. I'd tell him to be careful, it's a dangerous world out there. I'd tell him he's a hero, he's saving a lot of lives, but most of all, I'd tell him that I'm proud, you know. And what I loved about that moment, and Barry just kind of looks at him, does not confess, is that Henry knows, but he doesn't force a confession. You know, he opens the door for when Barry's ready to tell him, and then Barry walks through it in the Trickster episode, you know, after he saves me from the Trickster's lair. He takes off that wonderful moment where he takes off the cows like, gee, Dad, look what I can do.
Well, mine can be, when I say speak to him, there's no such thing as a coincidence. It, you know, to me, it was so profound because all the different kinds of things happen, and he not only in love, but everything in the universe too. I think that's why it was so fascinating about me. Flash stories, just all different timelines, and you know, going faster. And in life, I think
Is there something? Do you have a mic or something where you're breaking up? That's what I'm going to react to.
no, there's nothing. So I thought for a brief second, this sound bubble.
We can see you in the reflection, so.
You can see me in the reflection. So don't do anything. Is that better? Okay, good. Where was I?
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
That's exactly right. So this happened for a reason. You'll find out later. But you do, you know, so that everything bad, everything negative in your life kind of happens because it's setting you up for something better, or, you know, that we're all connected, that the whole universe is kind of connected, and that line is so wonderful, and very subtly played by myself. It meant a lot to me. And actually, one of my favorite scenes as well was when Iris and I were in the bowling alley with Barry and his new chick, and I just love the tension between seeing Barry and Iris finally flirting out of control and Eddie finally just losing it. I just really, got off on that. I loved it. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is for Joe. What's it been like playing the Flash in the 1990s to playing the Flash's dad?
Well, it's like I said before, I think playing the Flash prepared me for playing the Flash's dad. And someone asked me yesterday, what is your dream role? And I said, the next one. You know, so I'm loving playing Henry Allen. Of course, it's a lot easier. When I was the Flash, I had to do the heavy lifting, because you're playing two roles. You're in the suit or you're out of the suit. So you're there the entire time. I was there 55 to 80 hours a week every week, you know. Now, as I said, I get to come in and do these heartfelt moments and then see you know, so that's kind of fun.
Hi, my question is for Rick.
I think I was talking to the wrong person. I meant to be talking to you, right? Sorry, man. No disrespect intended.
My question is for Rick. Was it the plan from the beginning for Eddie to die, and what was your reaction when you found out?
No, it wasn't the plan at all. I hadn't signed on for like 5 years, so I was like, okay, blah, blah, blah. And then one day the producer asked me to have breakfast with him.
Always a bad sign.
That's strange. Now Jesse keeps saying, like, every time someone wants to have breakfast with you, you're like, no, I'm not hungry. Yeah, Jesse is one of the funniest people I've met, and it's so cool because a lot of, the Flash cast is still some of my really close friends. But yeah, it was a shock to me because I didn't see it coming, and I was really upset, and we all were, because we've all become so close, and we sort of knew that that we weren't really to see each other that much anymore, and so we didn't really have to act for the rest of the season. We sort of almost brought us closer together, and it kind of made the show even better, and it also, everyone was so heartbroken when I died. It's kind of cool. Like, everyone, this grown men come up to me and they're like, I never, like, you made me cry. And, it really added an amazing element to the story, because now, you're kind of like, well, anyone can die, and people do die, and yeah, it's kind of this epic story. I remember I was obsessed with Thunder Sub. I don't know if no one went to this island in Zimbabwe in the bush. We had like one cartoon, Thunder Sub, and one of the characters was called Rick, and he died really like dramatically, and he was sick, and I'm telling you, it was a girl called April. Who was like looking after him, she was really pretty and beautiful. And then he died, and I was in grade 3, and I told everyone the next day that I had acted in the cartoon, and they believed me. So my dream came true. It really did. But yeah, so I hope that answers your question. But it was really cool to kind of go through that journey, and now I'm on another show. I'm really grateful for that whole experience. So, maybe there really is no such thing as a coincidence.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Hi, my question is for John. Do you still have your Flash suit?
Oh God, no. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near that thing, trust me. Because briefly they had, it was two-piece construction plus the gloves. Now they have an undersuit and a shell that he puts on over it. The important point being they can wash the undersuit. They couldn't clean these 4 suits that they built at a cost of $100,000 in 1990. So there were 2 for me, 2 for the stuntmen. They just hang them in my trailer and spray them with Lysol. They'd still be wet and sticky at 5 a.m. the next morning when I put it on. So it's kind of miserable. I always tell people, the last I heard of, someone told me that half of one of them was in a plexiglass case in a Planet Hollywood in Orlando, and it kind of made me that close to people's food.
What was it he made out of?
It was foam latex, individually sculpted muscle pieces glued to a spandex suit, and then they sent an electromagnetic charge through the foam latex and flocked it with the red material. I'd have it on for 20 minutes and the muscles would be sweating. So I thought it was cool. They said it's not true to the comic books. The Flash doesn't sweat. So they sprayed it with a sealant.
Wow. That's fascinating.
When you're on Vampire Diaries, vampires had super speed, and on Flash there's super speed. If you could choose between being the Flash or a vampire, which would you choose?
Oh my gosh. I mean, wouldn't you just want to be this super villain vampire? That would really be the ultimate, I think. And I'm surprised they haven't done it yet. Being a super villain that's a vampire, maybe there is one. There probably is one out there. But to be honest, I would probably rather be Flash, even though he has his problems. I mean, man, he's got issues. We all do. And you know, with vampires, they're always hungry, and they're like, oh, I don't want to kill anyone. You know, but I have to eat, and like that suck, and then you have to live forever. And you can only come out at night. Like, I don't know, it's a bit of a toss-up, but I would definitely say Flash.
This is a question for both of you. Are you going to see the new Star Wars movie?
Definitely. I haven't been, but I will be going, simply because I have to tell Mark how much I love it, how much I will love it.
And what's your favorite bit of all Star Wars?
I am now. That's awesome. Is Mark in the new one?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, when we were on The Flash together, he said, how often do you get to revisit a project 25 years later and hand it off to the next generation?
Hi.
This is a question for Rick. What was your favourite moment in shooting The Flash?
Maybe when I punched Barry. I think that was a long time coming. And Grant's so good at reacting to a punch that it was so fun.
Your punch was awesome, man. I've thrown a lot of punches in my career.
And it was also, there was so much love between the two characters that it made the hurt even worse. Even though, Barry was just kind of one of those, that crazy anger thing. But yeah, that would have been one of my favorite moments. And also doing the pilot, doing the first episode, which we usually shoot about 5 months before, and to see if it goes to series or not. So that was the magical moment. Was the first day of shooting at a cafe in Vancouver that was dressed up like it was Jitters, which is now in a studio. And being outside that first day, and there was paparazzi everywhere, and we were at a table outside, and Iris comes along and kisses me, and then you see Barry's puppy dog face in between us. That was really cool, knowing that the director of that episode directed Game of Thrones and X-Files, and it's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah.
David Nutter, who just won an Emmy for, as we know, for an episode of Game of Thrones. Yeah, he's one of our producers, and he's directed our pilot, set the tone, and a couple of ours.
Okay, so we've got time for one last question, and sorry, I'm going to steal it because it's up to John. So John, what's coming up at the moment? What sort of projects have you got going? You were talking about a radio western that's coming up.
Yeah, I did this cool radio. I've never done a radio western before. It's called Powder Birds. We just had Robert Vaughn as a guest star. We have 4 episodes up on iTunes, or you can go to powderbirdswestern.com. We've been nominated for, I think, 3 or 4 Voice Performance Arts Awards. A ceremony is being held in November in LA, where William Shatner's being honored, and a couple of others. And I'm going back, when I get back to New York, I'm shooting a thriller called Night Sweats with Allison Mackey that's shooting actually in Manhattan, so I'm looking forward to that.
That's not a story about you in your first Flash suit?
Yeah, that was all day long sweats.
Excellent. Well, Auckland, please join me in thanking our special guest all the way from Stark. And of course, in the Nation Flash, Wesley Shipp. Stick around, I believe, coming up next is the Supernatural panel. No, it's one. Sorry, no, sorry. I take that back.